all the learners and viewers of NIUS. I, Dr. Piyush Prasad, Academic Officer Accountancy, welcome you in our program of NIUS. Today, we are going to discuss on the topic double entry system, which is basically one of the main things in accountancy. To discuss on this topic and to know the various things, we have invited in our studio Dr. Arvind Kumar, who is the head of the department from Government College, Badalpur. So I welcome you on behalf of NIUS in our studio.
Thank you.
Learners, I hope by this time you have came to know the accounting equations, where all the assets are going to be equal to the capital plus liabilities. That is, both the sides of the accounting equations are always going to be equal. Keeping that thing in our fact, today we are going to discuss that how we are going to maintain the books of accounts on the double entry system, what is the meaning of double entry system, what are its features, its limitations, its advantages, what are the different type of accounts that can be classified, and what are the rules and regulations of all those accounts. The very first thing which I would like to know for our learners, sir, would you like to explain our learners what is basically the meaning of double entry system?
Hello viewers, double entry system is the most scientific, complete and perfect system of keeping records. According to this system, every business transactions involves two accounts. One receiving the benefits called receiver and the other is giving the benefits called giver. Thus a business transaction affects two accounts in opposite directions. To record the transactions, therefore one account must be debited and another will be credited. Thus the method of fold aspects of each transaction is known as double entry system.
Sir, as we have told that this is one of the most scientific method of maintaining the books of accounts, our learners would like to know what are the advantages of double entry system.
Double entry system has the various advantages. The first advantage is this is a purely scientific system, because we know that there are so many rules which are applicable in double entry system. So on behalf of this we can say that this is a fully scientific system. The second advantage is verification of arithmetical accuracy. In double entry system we make trial balance, and by making trial balance we can check the mathematical accuracy. If both the sides of trial balance, that is debit or credit side, will equal, then we can say that our accounts are arithmetical correct. The next advantage is personal and impersonal records. In double entry system we record all the transactions, either they are personal or impersonal. Preparation of trading and profit and loss account. As we know that all business are make for the earning profit. So for the calculating profit we make trading account. By trading account we can calculate gross profit or gross loss. After that we want to know what are our net profits or net loss. For that we made profit and loss account. In our double entry system both the accounts have been prepared and we calculate the gross profit, gross loss or net profit or net loss. Knowledge of the financial position. Every businessman wants to know at a particular date what is the financial position of his business. For this he prepare the balance sheet. After preparation of balance sheet he knows what is his actual financial position of the business, because balance sheet has two sides, assets and liabilities, and also the both side will be equal if all the things are correct. And the last advantage is it is suitable for all the business person, either they are large business persons or they are small business. This is suitable for all businessmen.
As we have quoted that there are so many advantages of double entry system, definitely I hope so that there are going to be some limitations also, because there cannot be a coin which is going to have only one side. Every coin has two sides. Pros and cons are always supposed to be there. So do we have some limitations of this system?
There are little limitations of this system. The first limitation is it is a costly system. Okay. Because in double entry system we made a lot of accounts. So we have purchased more books and the cost of them will be more for the company.
It means as the number of persons are going to be employed in this system, the books are going to be maintained, that's why the cost of maintaining the books of account is going to increase. So if we compare this kind of limitation in comparison to the benefits which we avail from the double entry system, this is a very small limitation. Do we have any other limitations other than that?
This system requires to maintenance a number of books of accounts, so it is not practical for small business. And one more limitation is there is no guarantee of absolute accuracy of the books of accounts, because there are so many mistakes in trial balance. After that, our trial balance has been tallied.
Even though we have tried our level best to work on a double entry system, but there is a scope that still the mistakes may be there. Though the trial balance is tallied, each and everything is there, but there is a possibility the trial balance will only show the arithmetical accuracy. There may be some other kinds of errors which have been left aside while preparing the books of accounts, keeping in with those things. Sir, once we have came to know the meaning and the advantages and limitations of the double entry system, I would like to know that how can we classify the accounts into various categories?
We can classify our accounts into two parts. One is traditional concept and the other is modern concept.
What is this traditional concept?
This is the old concept.
Okay.
In the traditional concept, we divide our accounts into three parts. One is personal account, the second is real account, and the other is nominal account.
Do this account system, traditional system, is still followed in present scenario, in a present day accounting?
No, at present we follow the modern accounting, modern concepts.
What is this modern concept of accounting?
In modern concept of accounting, we divide all the accounts into five parts. First is liability side, we can say the liability concept. The next is asset concept. The third is capital concept. Fourth is expenses or losses concept, and the last is income or profit concept.
Now, as we have told, in traditional concept we are going to categorize the account into three different categories. Would you throw the light on those three types of account that we used to have in our traditional concepts?
First of all, I want to give what is the personal account. In personal account, all accounts which relate to a person is known as personal account.
Okay, so it may be a name of a person or a name of a firm, name of the business organization, but any name, if the moment we got a name, that type of account would come under the category of the personal account.
For example, Ram's account, Sam's account, UCO Bank account, SBI account, Ram and Company account.
So any name is going to categorize under the category on the personal account. Personal account is the only thing, or do we have further more classification of personal account?
Yes. First is natural personal account. In natural personal account, we take only the persons or personal names, such as Ram's account, Mohan's account, Sohan's account, etc.
That may be the human beings are going to be taken into care of natural personal account. Okay.
The second category is artificial personal account. In artificial personal account, we include companies, banks, those are artificial, and the other is representative personal account. In this category, we take only those accounts which can represent this category.
Okay.
So, for example, capital account, drawings account, outstanding account, prepaid account, these are included in representative personal account.
Okay. Now, personal account can be classified into three categories, as we've told you. It's one of going to be the natural person, artificial person, or a representative person. Then what is going to be the real account?
In real account, we take all the assets basically, such as building account, furniture account, land account, all the assets we are which are in the business, then all this included in the real account. Yes, we can classify real account into two forms, tangible assets and intangible assets. Tangible assets are those assets which are seen by our eyes.
That can be buildings, furniture, vehicles, these are things under the category of the tangible assets, which can be touched, feel and seen. Then what are intangible assets?
Such as goodwill, patent, because these are the assets, but we cannot see them or touch them. In nominal account, we include all the accounts which are related to our expenses or incomes. These are called nominal accounts because they exist only in name. They cannot be seen or touched, such as salary account, wages account, rent account, interest account, discount account. These all the accounts are included in the nominal accounts category.
So, what are the rules applicable for traditional account for a person, the one who is going to pass the entries in the books of account or is going to record the transactions in the books of account. So what rules are to be followed if we perform the work on the traditional system of bookkeeping or traditional method which you have told us?
Okay. As we know that we have three categories. Number one is personal account. In personal account, we have a very simple rule: debit the receiver and credit the giver. The party who is received something, that will be debited, and who will given, that will be credited. Suppose Ram receive 50,000 rupees, then Ram will be the receiver and should be debited. The next category is real account. In real account, we have the rule: debit what comes in and credit what goes out. All which comes in we will debit it, and all which goes out we will credit it. Suppose we purchase the furniture, we bought furniture, so furniture comes in, so furniture will be debited. And if we purchase furniture in cash, then cash will goes out and cash will be credited. If we sell building, then in cash, if we sell building in cash, that means we receive cash, will be debited and building will be credited. The third category is nominal account. This category, the rule is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and profit. In this category, we debit all expenses and credit all incomes and profit. For example, if we paid wages, then wages will be expenses and should be debited. And if we received discount is income, so discount will be credited.
Okay. So normally these are going to be the three different categories in our traditional system. As you have method that the real account is going to be there, personal account is going to be there, and nominal account is going to be there. And there are certain rules and regulations of debit and credit on the basis of which the accounting is going to be done. Now, do we have any same kind of rule for the modern system of transactions or the modern system of debit and credit?
In modern concept, the term debit and credit indicate whether the transaction is to be recorded in the left hand side or the right hand side. In its simplest form, an account looks like the English letter T.
So, what are the different sides of a T account? As you have mentioned, the account is going to be of a T shape, English letter T, which means that there will be one horizontal line and one vertical line. So, what do we know as a left hand side and what do we call as a right hand side of an account?
The left hand side of the account is known as debit side, and the right hand side of the account is known as credit side.
Okay. So now, what are the rules of debit and credit? As we have mentioned, there are going to be 5 different types of accounts or is categories in case of the modern system of accounting. I would like to know that our learners should know this thing, what are the rules and regulations of debit and credit at the time of performance of entries or recording the transactions in the books of account in modern system of accounting.
Rules of accounting. In this rules of accounting, we first take the category of asset. In asset, because I told earlier that in T shape of accounting, we have both sides, two sides, that is, one is debit and other is credit side. So, if we purchase the asset, then that means our assets will be increased, so that will be debited. And if we sold the asset, that means the asset is decreased and then asset will be credited.
Okay. So, according to this, whenever we are preparing an account of an asset, then in that case the debit side would be the increase side and credit side would be the decrease side. If the assets values are going to increase because of appreciation in the value or because maybe of the purchase of asset, we have to record them on the left hand side, which is the debit side of an account. And if the value of the assets are going to decrease, maybe because of sale of an asset or they destroyed or because of depreciation or maybe any other reason, then in that case we have to record it on the credit side. What are the other rules?
The second category is liability side. In liabilities, we have two sides, but this is reverse of asset. If we decrease in our liability, then it will be left hand side, and if we increase the asset, that will be shown in the left hand side.
Okay. So, in case of liabilities, it is simply just going to be the opposite or reverse of asset. That is, in case if the liabilities increases, it will be shown on a credit side. And if the liabilities decreases, it will be shown on the left hand side, which is one of the debit side. What else, sir?
For viewers, we can give the example. If we paid some liability, that means liability is decreased.
जी.
That will shown in the left hand side.
Okay. Suppose a person takes a bank loan. Then bank loan is a liability for him. Then where are we going to show the bank loan on the bank loan account?
Because if we take a bank loan, that means liability is increased, and when liability is increased, that will be shown in credit side.
Okay. What are the other rules, sir?
The next category is capital account. This is the same as the liability category. If we decrease in capital, that will be shown on the left hand side. If we increase, that will shown in the right hand side.
So capital is almost same as done in case of the liability. That all the increases in the value of the capital will be shown on the credit side and the decrease in the capital will be shown on the debit side. इसके अलावा कोई और rules?
Yes. The next category is expenses or losses. Expenses or losses is the same as asset account. If we increase the expenses, if we increase the losses, then will be shown in the debit side. And if we decrease in expenses, that which will be shown in the left hand side or the credit side. The next category is the income. In income, or we can say that revenue or gains, if we decrease, then it will be shown in the debit side. If we will increase in the income, that will be shown in the credit side.
So according to you, out of these 5, 2 accounts are going to be similar and 3 are going to be similar on the other side. That is, the rule of assets and expenses and losses are going to be similar, which says that all the increases will be shown on the left hand side and all the decreases will be shown on the right hand side, which is the credit side. While on the other hand, the rules of liabilities, the capital and the incomes will have the same type of category. They will put under the same box and same part. That all the increases either in terms of liability, capital or incomes will be credited and the decrease will be debited or will be shown on the left hand side. Learners, as we have came to know that the accounts can be classified into 2 different main categories as the modern concept of accounting and traditional concept of accounting. Under the traditional concept of accounting, we have categorized the account into 3 different forms as the real account, personal account and nominal account. While under the modern concept of accounting, all the accounts are categorized into the 5 different forms, which are basically the assets, liabilities, expenses, capital and revenue. Now, we are going to discuss each and every type of account with the help of an example. If this is going to be transaction, then how it is going to be affected and what are the accounts that are going to be affected under each and every method. Sir, we will take first the traditional method of accounting. Suppose we will take an example, goods sold for cash. Under this transaction and we take the traditional method, then what are the accounts that are going to be affected? Please tell our learners.
Learners, if we sold goods, that means we collect the cash. If we sold goods for cash, then that means we collect the cash. So first account will be affected is cash account and the second is affected is sales account because we sold the goods.
Okay. Keeping in view the same thing, if the goods were purchased from A, the name is there as we have mentioned, if there is any name, it is going to come under the category of the personal account. So if the another transaction is there, goods purchased from A, then what will be the effect of this transaction on our books of accounts?
Goods purchased from A, that means first we purchase the goods. The first account will be affected is purchases account, that will be gone in the category of nominal account. So for purchases, the debit and credit rules will be applied as per nominal rules.
So under this case, purchases will be debited and A is going to be credited. The third thing which we take is, suppose the wages are going to be paid, then what is the rule applicable under this case?
In nominal category, we told that all expenses will be debited. If wages are paid, then definitely wages will be debited, and if we paid cash, then cash will be credited.
Okay. So learners, these are the 3 or 4 examples which we have taken into consideration in case we are going to follow the traditional system of double entry. If the modern concept of double entry is going to be followed, where we have categorized the account into 5 different categories, now we are going to discuss each and every type of account with the help of an example. Sir, first of all we discuss with the asset account. Suppose the building is going to be purchased, then what will be the treatment of purchase of building according to the modern concept of accounting in our books of accounts?
Because building is an asset account, that means the rules of assets will be applicable. Building is an asset and asset increases, that means building will be debited.
Okay. And as the cash goes out, the cash is going to be credited. Suppose the goods purchased from A. Now, or suppose a bank loan is going to be taken, or we have taken a facility of a bank overdraft from the bank. Under this category, these things would come under the liability. Then how the treatment would be done in this case?
Then we taken the loan, that mean cash will be cash will be debited and loan will be credited.
Okay. The third category is basically the, which you have told about, is about the losses and expenses. Under the losses and expenses, we can take any kind of thing. Suppose the salaries are going to be paid, commission is going to be paid, or bank has made certain charges on the services which they have provided to us. Then what will be the treatment of this under the third category of accounting, as we have discussed, is the expenses.
In expenses, we debited all the expenses. So, any type of expenses which will be paid by us, that will be debited and we credited to cash.
Okay. The fourth category was related to the capital. Whenever someone is going to start up a business, he has to invest some capital. So, if we take an example, ki A started business with cash rupees 50,000. How this thing would affect our accounts?
Okay. In this case, cash will be collected by the company, then cash will be debited and liability, that is capital, will be credited.
So, if there is an increase in the capital, it will be credited. And suppose if we take a reverse case, that someone withdraws some money from the business for his personal use as a drawing, then what will be the treatment of this thing?
In drawing case, drawings will be debited and cash will be credited.
Okay. The last one which was related to this modern concept of accounting was the income. If certain things are related to the income, for example, we receive some commission, we receive the discount, or we receive the rent from the tenant, then how we are going to show under this system in our books of accounts?
In income category, we credited all the incomes. For example, if we rent received, then we credited rent. If we receive other income, all incomes will be credited. And what will be received, that is cash, cash will be debited in this case.
So, learners, today we have discussed very in details the double entry system, in which we have considered the meaning, its advantages, its limitations, how the different type of account can be categorized under both the methods of traditional method and modern method of accounting, what are the rules and regulations that are going to be applicable under each and every system of accounting with the help of example. I hope that now the double entry system of maintaining the books of account is going to be very, very clear to you. And you can perform your job of recording the transactions in the books of account in a very smooth and fair manner. And you won't face any problem because each and everything has been clarified with the help of an example. Sir, on my behalf and on behalf of NIUS, I thank you very much for being here with us and providing such a useful information to our learners and viewers. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us.
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान NIOS आम आदमी के जीवन स्तर को बेहतर बनाता है। हमारा लक्ष्य है एक भी व्यक्ति अशिक्षित न रहे। शिक्षा के बंद दरवाजों को खोलता स्कूल NIOS यानी राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान, जिसने 25 लाख से अधिक लोगों को बेहतर शिक्षा से जोड़ा है। इसी तर्ज पर शिक्षा के नजरिए को एक नया स्वरूप प्रदान करता है मुक्त विद्यावाणी, जिसकी शुरुआत 19 जुलाई 2012 को मानव संसाधन एवं विकास मंत्रालय द्वारा की गई।
On the day of this particular initiative, when we started taking up with the support of various expertise body, we also did not know that how this particular system will work for reaching to the unreached, and more specifically to the learners who are unable to attend the face-to-face contact program. In fact, our motto has been using the technology and more particularly the media and facilitating the learning of the children, and Mukt Vidyavani is one such venture in this context. The PCP program, more popularly known as Personal Contact Program, is one such venture and also addressing the issues related to the learners, both academic and non-academic. And I must congratulate each of the department, more specifically the academic and vocational education department, which has been supportive in organizing such personal contact programs using Mukt Vidyavani.
2 साल का सफर और लाखों लोगों के चेहरे पर खिलती मुस्कान, जीवन जीने की प्रेरणा देती मुस्कान, और इन चेहरों पर ये मुस्कान आई है मुक्त विद्यावाणी के जरिए। मुक्त विद्यावाणी भारत का पहला एजुकेशन वेब रेडियो, जिसने न केवल राष्ट्रीय बल्कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भी अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज कराई है।
हमारा मुक्त विद्यावाणी प्रोग्राम 2 साल पूरे कर रहा है और 2 साल की सफलता हमें बताती है कि टेक्नोलॉजी और मीडिया के इस्तेमाल से एजुकेशन, जो ओपन एंड डिस्टेंस लर्निंग में जो एजुकेशन दी जाती है, उसको कितना अच्छी तरह किया जा सकता है। मैं सभी संबंधित को शुभकामनाएं देता हूं मुक्त विद्यावाणी के 2 साल पूर्ण होने पर।
इस अवसर पर मैं NIAS के लर्नर्स को विशेष रूप से शुभकामनाएं देना चाहूँगा। साथ ही मैं शुभकामनाएं देना चाहूँगा अपनी मीडिया यूनिट के सभी अधिकारियों कर्मचारियों को, जिनके इस अथक परिश्रम से हमारे जो छात्र हैं, जो लर्नर्स हैं, उनको फ़ायदा पहुँचाए। मैं आशा करता हूँ आगे आने वाला समय हमारे लिए और चैलेंजिंग होगा और इस कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से हम अपने लर्नर्स को अधिक से अधिक लाभ पहुँचा पाएंगे।
मुक्त विद्यावाणी के दूसरे स्थापना दिवस पर मैं पूरी मीडिया टीम को अनेकों शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मैं आशा करता हूं कि आगे आने वाले दिनों में मुक्त विद्यावाणी का एक्सपेंशन होगा और इसे टैब और मोबाइल के माध्यम से भी स्टूडेंट तक पहुंचाया जा सके।
मुक्त विद्यावाणी के कार्यक्रमों को विद्यार्थियों तक पहुंचाने के लिए कई प्रक्रियाओं से गुजरना पड़ता है। सबसे पहले हमारे ऑडियो स्टूडियो में विषय विशेषज्ञ, शैक्षिक अधिकारी, एंकर, कार्यक्रम निर्वाहक और तकनीकी कौशल की सहायता से एक कार्यक्रम को तैयार करके उसे प्रसारित किया जाता है, जिसमें माध्यमिक, उच्चतर माध्यमिक और व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रमों के कार्यक्रम शामिल हैं। कार्यक्रम के बनने के बाद उसे अपलोड किया जाता है मुक्त विद्यावाणी की वेबसाइट पर और फिर उसे जोड़ा जाता है सर्वर से। अब ये कार्यक्रम तैयार है आप तक पहुंचने के लिए, और वो भी बिना किसी रुकावट के।
मुक्त विद्यावाणी बहुत ही मेरे लाइफ में बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंस है, क्योंकि जो भी लेसन मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था तो मैं उसमें सुनता था और उसमें जो भी बताता तो मुझे उससे बहुत हेल्प मिली है।
हम नंबर्स पे कॉल करके तभी अपने सारे डाउट्स को क्लियर आउट कर सकते हैं। जो भी हमारे डाउट्स हैं वो क्लियर हो जाते हैं उस पर।
मुक्त विद्यावाणी के कार्यक्रमों को सुनने के लिए बस आपको जरूरत है एक कंप्यूटर और इंटरनेट की सुविधा की। मुक्त विद्यावाणी के कार्यक्रमों को लाइव सुनने और कार्यक्रमों के बारे में संपूर्ण जानकारी के लिए लॉग ऑन करें www.nios.ac.in पर और क्लिक करें मुक्त विद्यावाणी के पेज पर। यहाँ पर आप हमारे लाइव पर्सनल कांटेक्ट प्रोग्राम्स को सुन सकते हैं। सोमवार से शुक्रवार दोपहर 2 बजे से शाम 5 बजे तक, शनिवार और रविवार सुबह 10:30 बजे से दोपहर 12:30 बजे तक। लाइव पर्सनल कांटेक्ट प्रोग्राम्स के दौरान आप हमारे विषय विशेषज्ञ और शैक्षिक अधिकारी से सीधे जुड़ सकते हैं और आप हमें हमारे नंबर 0120-462-6949 और टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-180-2543 पर फोन करके अपने विषय से संबंधित सभी समस्याओं का समाधान पा सकते हैं। आप हमें ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं। हमारा ईमेल आईडी है मुक्तविद्यावाणी MUKTAVIDYAVANI @nios.ac.in।